We are live.
All right, guys, it's Thursday. I'm Coach Jason. I got Joey Huber here with me yet again. We're back after a holiday hiatus. Joey, how you feeling? How's
Oh
your
man,
going?
super pumped. I think everybody should be really excited about 2021. At least the hopes of it being, getting back to business for brick and mortar. Whether we know that's the case or not, at least be excited for the opportunity. So I am. I know Jason is, and that is why we are doubling down and giving you guys some really cool stuff right out the gate.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think whether or not it's based in reality, I think all of us, probably as a world, but definitely as Americans, have been thinking like, fuck 2020, 2021, here we go. We're going to hit the ground running. And so even if there's still, maybe some uncertainty, I think just in general, the population is coming into this year with a lot of optimism. And I think the thing we're talking about today really feeds into that. Free Facebook groups, I think, are the future. And I think no matter where you're at, in the lockdown phases or politics of your location and area, I think free Facebook groups is a absolutely right message at the right time for people. So I'm excited for today.
Yeah, and stuff goes in trends and it goes in ebbs and flows, and things get hot and then they go away. Sometimes they come back. So right now, Facebook groups are a huge way for us to connect with our potential clients, more so than they've ever been. And that's why we're going to be pivoting and talking more about how to leverage your free Facebook group than we have in the past. And to be honest with you, usually when something new comes, something old goes away. And I kind of have the feeling that straight conversion ads, like where you're running ads and someone sees it and they click on it and they schedule an appointment for you and they show up, that is much, much more difficult to perform on a high level, because Facebook simply is changing how they want to do business. There's enough people that have said, hey, look, I mean, every time I go on Facebook, I am constantly being bombarded with ads that I don't even know these people, or it doesn't relate to like what I do. And so Facebook has made some big changes. If you follow them at all, you would know that they've made some big changes to really show you the stuff that is in the groups that you joined, because you specifically joined those groups based on what you're interested in. And Mark Zuckerberg and the Facebook team at their last summit that they had said, look, groups are the future of Facebook, because it allows us to get back to people just logging on Facebook and talking with their friends about common interests and not all this other stuff. And they picked the groups that they wanted to be in. And so we'll show them that stuff first. Well, if you are a marketer or you want to sell to people on Facebook, it would make sense for you to have a group that people can join. But it's not as simple as, hey, join my group and then I'll sell you some stuff, right? And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. Is so knowing that that is going to be the most powerful tool that we can use in Facebook. Now, of course, we've talked about all the other tools that are not Facebook, but Facebook, guys, is a freaking juggernaut when it comes to marketing and advertising. Even if the conventional ways aren't typically what they're doing anymore, it's still a very powerful tool to use. So we want to talk to you today about how to use it appropriately so you get the result that you're looking for from your efforts. Because there's nothing worse than spending a ton of time and energy on this group and growing this group, and it at the end of the day, you're not getting any clients from it. What's the point, right? So today, Jason and I are going to dig deep into, well, I have this Facebook group, and how do I use it to actually get members at my gym? And so it's an intricate process, and we're going to cover all of it.
A couple of little key points that I want to pick out from what you just said that are, I think, really, really important and powerful for Facebook groups is, number one, if you look at your feed, the algorithm has been adjusted. You're not going to see individual posts nearly as often as you used to. You're going to see posts from the groups that you like. That's number one. Facebook has, like you said, already made a concerted effort and has made statements that they're doing so to focus on Facebook groups in general. But also, just think about it from their business perspective. They would much rather prioritize people putting eyeballs into Facebook groups where they're going to be native on their site, as opposed to, like you said, like putting people out of the site. So as we start to see the software catch up, I really think that we're going to see more and more favorable conditions for that. So really, really great point. First of all, we're an organic first, high ticket first program. do you consider, I personally consider a Facebook group, even if we do pay for getting people into that group, I think about those people that convert from there as being organic. Do you agree with that? Or, how do
Yeah,
you?
it's a hybrid of them, because what we'll teach is the best way to get people into your group is through paid advertising, specifically because once we talk more about that, but they're better quality leads, right? And of course, it depends on what you're using your group for. If you seriously just want to have a community of people, then grow it, or grow it organically through your friends and sharing on your personal profile. But if you're trying to actually sell and make money from it, then it makes sense to get people in from ads that are like, oh, I want that thing, right? And your ad will be that thing, right? But I do consider it a hybrid of organic and paid advertising. Is that what was your question?
Well, I guess maybe the way I would frame it is, I think of paid leads as somebody where I'm saying, hey, look at me. They're doing something else, and I say, hey, look at me. Whereas I think of organic leads as somebody who's driving by and they see a sign, oh, I want that. They opt in. They want it. They come and get it. Or somebody is in a group and then they go, hey, I'm ready now. I'm ready now to come in. And so when you see that person for a sale or a diagnosis, you're going to see a person who's ready because they chose the time to come to you and have that sale. And so you're going to get a much better uptake. You're going to get a much better show rate, things like that. So in that sense, I think of it as organic.
Well, and they're certainly higher quality leads.
Much higher quality. Yeah.
That's the key, guys, is like you're getting them in front of you, of your message and yourself, and they're getting to know you and like you and trust you because of your messaging. By the time they actually come and meet with you, they're just higher quality leads for sure, because if they don't like anything that you're saying, they just won't book the appointment, right? And so by the time they actually schedule an appointment, they're totally digging what you have going on, and there's way less obstacles or objections that you got to overcome by the at that point. Whereas everybody knows, like, the person that sees your ad and schedules an appointment for the same day and comes in, like, they may have no freaking idea what you do or what it's about, or if they even show up, and so this is, well, yeah. And Jason and I really believe in high quality leads. And so that's why we take this approach.
Yeah. And then, so I want to also mention before we dive in, and this is kind of moving us towards that, is every time I talk to a gym owner, it's like a referral program. I go, do you have a referral program? And they go, yes. Do you have a Facebook group? And they go, yes. And the reality is that not all referral programs, just like not all Facebook groups are created equal. And so today, I think the big thing for us is going to be, okay, let's have this Facebook group have a business system associated with it where we can regularly and reliably extract new clients from that every single month. I think of that free Facebook group like a farm. We're going to be planting seeds to grow a crop that we will then reap over time, right? And so to get started with that, how hard is it to get started? I mean, that was one of the things I have here, like, how quickly can we get up and running with a free Facebook group that, and actually make some progress?
Guys, if you go into our training, we show you how to launch the group, but it's extremely easy to do. That's the nice thing about a Facebook group is, Facebook really makes things easy compared to like a different revenue stream. So like, let's say you want to dig into like, conversion ads and building a funnel to run ads there. There's usually a higher barrier of entry to that because, first of all, you probably don't know anything about funnels or how to build one or how to build one that works. And then you have to figure out how to actually market to, Facebook people using, what if you use 1 day click versus 7 day click, or what's your radius be? It's a higher barrier. You gotta learn those things first. Facebook groups are super easy. You just start a group, and the first thing you would do is called launching the group. And in our training, it's called launching the group, and it's super simple. You put out a couple posts yourself in your area. Well, it's going to be your area because it's on your profile, but it basically is a 2-step process of explaining what you're going to be doing, which is, hey guys, I'm going to be launching this group. And then the second post is, hey, I launched this group, and you're reminding everybody that commented on your first one, get in here, right? And you'll probably start off with anywhere from 1 to 200 people in your group, which is plenty to get it started. So if I was launching a group, if I said, hey, I want to launch a new group, within 24 hours, it would be live, right? You make the first post, you make the group. And so I'm not going to explain exactly how to, like, the technical side of making the group, but in our training, It shows you like what kind of group, and you probably don't know some of these things. Like there's different kinds of Facebook groups depending on what your objective is, and Facebook kind of makes it easier. We tell you which kind. There's membership questions. You don't want to just let anybody in, so you can pick 3 membership questions, and we tell you, hey, these are the best ones to get information from them to make sure they're serious and they're your potential clients. If they answer no to all of them, then that means they're probably not ever going to be a customer of yours. And right, so what's the point of having them in here? So as far as doing that process, going to settings, we make it really easy because it's like, click here, change this setting to this, and this is why. Click here, change it. So 1 hour max to sit down in front of your computer, follow along with me, and your group will be structured. You'll put a picture in there and your group is there. Nobody's in it, it's 0 people, but it's there, right? Then another 30 minutes to make that first post and another 30 minutes to make that second post. I think it's probably the fastest thing to get going because Facebook just makes it so easy. So very easy to answer that question, like to get it started.
Well, and what I would add too is a lot of folks that I talk to, they're like, the 2 questions that come up most are, number 1, I have a clients group. Should I just make that my public facing free Facebook group? And my answer to that is no, and I think you'll agree. And that is because what we tell our clients and what we work with our clients on, it's just not the same content. It's not the same angle. And frankly, our free Facebook group, as we'll discuss, isn't a business forward group. It's a help forward group. We're trying to add value, so instead of talking about Body by Design or Chicago Elite Fitness, we're talking about Chicago or Milwaukee area or Waukesha area fitness tips or whatever it may be. And then the second one is if they do already have a Facebook group, as I alluded to before, they're not all created equal. If they have a big following on a free Facebook group and they're not regularly reaping rewards from that in the form of paying clients, then they can take our best practices and usually overlay them on top and use that existing client base as well, just by changing the format of the group to the way we recommend it and by going forward doing that. Do you agree with that or no?
Yeah, 100%. You definitely don't want your members group to be the same thing as your clients group. In fact, like a successful free group will not even mention your gym's name, right? Because that's not the point of it. The point of it is to give value to your local community, right? On behalf of just yourself and your coaches, right? It's not going to be like Body by Design's free group. They know coming into there, you're just going to pitch them because you're front facing as a business. Whereas if it's like, hey, Milwaukee area coaches group to help people live a healthy lifestyle or something. Of course, you work on behalf of a gym, but it doesn't seem like that. It seems way more authentic, right? And we want to attract people authentically, and that's how we're going to do it. And you're not going to be overly salesy in your group. You're going to be giving a ton of value, and once a month or once every other month, you're going to be asking the people in your group to raise their hand, like, hey, who wants to work with us, right? And you'll clean up, and you'll end up getting them in, as customers because of all the value that you're giving. And if they say no, that's fine. You'll have people in there that will never ever join your gym and just take all of the free value, and that's fine because that's the point of the group.
Couldn't agree more. So we've got the client who's listening to this, the gym owner who's listening to this, has gone through, they've set up their group. What types and how frequently, what types of content should they be looking at trying to produce, and how frequently do you recommend that a gym owner produce content?
So I think I have the magic formula. So let's go over the type of post that you want to make and how frequently. And guys, this is a science, okay? So if you're like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna make a value post every single day, or you're just gonna pitch them every single day, then don't be upset as to why your group isn't performing so well, right? Because people react to different types of content that you're putting in front of them, right? If you're pumping down whiteboard value every single day, they're going to think your group is boring. If you ask them questions about themselves to increase engagement, they may engage a lot in your group, like, oh, I like that kind of peanut butter too. But they're never going to end up being clients of yours because you're not giving them any value. They don't think that you know your stuff. So let's talk about the 6 different types of posts. I've broken it down into 6 different types and how frequently you should do each one of those. Now, again, this is in the training, but I'm going to give a little bit more detail in this because we've been doing it a little bit longer at this point. So let me open up my notes really quick.
Sure.
The first one is lives. Okay. So if there is the most important post that you never want to miss, it is going to be a Facebook Live, right? So you'll be writing an anticipation post. So an anticipation post is not one of the kind. It is simply just telling people what you're going to be doing later that day, so they tune in, right? So don't think like I did my anticipation post for the day, I'm good. Like no, it's anticipating something else that's coming, right?
If you're watching live now, that's how you found out about this live, right?
Exactly. So the live, I like to put at the time that you think your customers will be most able to view it. Okay. For us, we do 2 p.m. because most gym owners are not coaching somebody at 2 p.m. Right. But you need to look at your potential client base. And so, what I'd recommend for a gym is either 7 p.m. when they're home, right? If they're home for the day, which I know sounds late, but if you go live at 6 p.m., they're not, who's going to be available to just jump on their phone, right? Or their computer, or over the lunch hour seems to work well. So if you go noon, 12:30, 1 o'clock, even somewhere around there. But if you're going to try to go live when it's most convenient for you, then you will probably not have a very high attendance, which is fine. We'll talk more about the engagement later on. But the first one is lives, okay? And a live is simply where you are going to be given your bangers, right? Like your core pillars of what you really believe in, right? So for us, it would be like fitness, nutrition, accountability, why it's important, but like your big thing that you really preach, that is a cornerstone of your business. Save that for your lives, so you can give that with conviction, and even send those to potential leads that are like, yeah, but what do you think about this? Well, take a look at this, grab this link. Another good thing to do with lives is interviews, right? So we haven't done too many of those, but interviews are a great thing to do on a live, where it's like, hey, who would be interested if I brought Susie on? She has lost 35 pounds in our program in 90 days. Who would like to hear about how she did it, right? And you'll have people saying me, right? And then you simply just interview her. Hey, Susie. And then you go from there. And so I would do that every Monday. And lives you want to do once per week. It doesn't have to be Monday. I like Mondays, but one time per week, do your live, do an anticipation post the morning of, right? Just telling people. And if you guys need examples, just look in our group, look in low stress, high profit. There is examples of everything that we're talking about. And you can use the copy and just change some of the details. It's in the course too.
And they don't necessarily have to be 20 minutes long. I think, Joey, you're great because you make so much digital content that you're great at you can just talk off the cuff about this content and this topic that you're talking about. But I will tell you that you absolutely, if it's poignant and if it's helpful advice and it's motivating, especially for the lives, you can catch lightning in a bottle in a very short time frame as well. And so that's definitely.
I think I talk too much. I try to condense mine down, right? But you know what I mean? It's like I get on a roll and I get going.
Yeah.
So
one thing I would add that because we talked about the anticipation post, is using the broadcast center of your up launch in advance of these more important things like lives. You can go right in there and you can put that same exact content into the broadcast center and send that out to all of your current clients. You can send it to anybody that's in that Facebook group as well.
Yeah, and I do it over text. I don't do the email broadcast for anticipation post. I just text it, and you guys probably have got them, right? Probably got one today or Monday. I'm sorry, and it said, "Hey, look, Jason and I are going live. Make sure you're there. If you're not, just click this link." And of course, it has the link that will take them right to the group. All right, so I put those out, and you get much higher attendance for your live. So that's the first kind. The second kind is value post, right? So with the value post, it is just something like Jason just made one on Tuesday, basically explaining, ownership over your business, right? But you want to change the topic of your value post, and it's something you can type, or it's something that you can record on, we've done them both ways, but it's you digging deep into a specific thing that you're knowledgeable about, right? And so sometimes on my value posts, I might say like, look, this is how you you can grow your business sustainably while keeping, 20% profit margins, right? And I'll dig deep into that thing, right? It's not as good for a live because it's kind of boring. And the lives, you want to get people fired up and excited and passionate and create some followers. The lives, you want to create some followers, right? The value post, you want to show them that you are the expert at what you are talking about, right?
Yeah.
And then use, experiences that you've had in the past, like, hey guys, I messed this up, but here's how I fixed it. So I used to be overweight, but when I started doing this, everything changed for me, right? And so you're just giving them something without asking for anything in exchange. So it's important that on the lives, you put a call to action at the end of it, right? So, and you can just say like, look, hopefully you guys really enjoyed me talking to Mrs. Jones and her weight loss of 35 pounds. If you did, and if you want to be the next one, all you have to do is raise your hand and say me, and I'm going to reach out to you and I'm going to get you set up with a free consultation or whatever it may be. Value posts do not give a call to action because you can't pitch them every single time you're talking to them, or they're going to think that it's just a business thing for you, right? So when you give a really good value post, make sure that you do not put a call to action on it and just let it be, let it simmer. But what I will recommend with any one of these, any single one of them, you must always have an image or a video with it. Do not drop straight text, right? Because people will scroll right past it.
Yeah, that's a great point. And then another little note on that is a couple of things. One, you can do some minimal formatting with like bold and centering things if you do it on your desktop. So I'll type them up typically in the Word document format, and then I can bring them over and have add a little bit of flavor with bullet points and bolding. And then second too, another way to kind of do a combination is if you are going to walk through something that's a value post that's going to add a lot of value, but it has a little detail to it, you can make slides and you can use something like Loom to have it record your screen as well as your camera while you're talking through it. So I've done that a couple of times. And so for people, I think what I would think about if I'm coaching people on this is whatever medium you can be the most compelling to, whether it's in text format, in video format, or in a combination of the both with Loom maybe, I would recommend using that to where you can be the most impactful and the most comfortable to get your message across.
100%.
So what's the next type of post, Joey?
So on value posts, I would do those Tuesday, just my recommendation, right? It follows up after the live, good. Third post, which I would do Wednesday, client win, right? So anytime you have a client win, big or small, guys, you can find one, right? You can find a client win, right? Even if it's just Susie feels better, give her a shout out if you want to feel better too, or Mr. Jones just lost. He hit his goal that he set when he first walked in. Obviously, if you can have a picture, much better. But it's a client win, right? You need to show people that your clients are winning, right? And they're winning a lot. And so I do client wins on Wednesdays. If you have more than one person you want to highlight, then just put it together in a collage or something like that and tag them in it so people know it's a real person, right? Always tag the person. If they're not in your group, I try to get them in your group before you make that post, right? And say, hey, Susie just lost, whatever it may be. Any client win, do those on Wednesdays, and never forget those because you want to show people that your guys are constantly winning and you know what you're talking about.
That's a great point.
Call to action on that one too would be like, hey, if you want to get results just like Susie, write me in the comments and we'll reach out to you, right? So very simple. None of these are hard call to actions. Like they're all very soft, right? And that's the point of the free Facebook group. You're not like, if you want to get results like Susie, you must opt in within 24 hours because there's only 4 spots left. Otherwise, we'll never talk to you again. Like we're not hard selling them on any of these, right?
Yeah, it's like a farm. You pick the berries when they're ripe, man. You don't force it. And I think that if you're getting enough volume in here and you're consistent. So one thing that I tell people all the time, and you're kind of addressing it. You're talking about a Monday post, a Tuesday post, a Wednesday post. A lot of entrepreneurs are guilty of this, right? A lot of entrepreneurs are hyper productive and then they lull, and they're hyper productive and they lull. And so what I would say is you want to make sure that no matter what you implement, that you do it consistently every single week. So I would rather you did 3 posts a week, but you did it every week at the same times and they were valuable every time than somebody like 100%. Me or Joey, where we're going to do 5, or even maybe more possibly. So consistency is king on that one, I think.
100%. And no one's gonna pick up on your routine. You guys probably haven't, but look at low stress, high profit. Go back. It's the same exact type of post, the same day of the week since we started it, right? And I bet you none of you have picked up on our patterns, right? That every Wednesday we shout somebody out, right? Every Monday I'm live. Every Tuesday it's a value post from Jason, right? I bet you haven't picked up on that, and your clients won't either, because there's just so much going on Facebook, right? And so the next one would be I do this on Thursdays. It would be a honeypot or a question. So let me break that down. A honeypot is simple. It's just something. So either one of these, the reason that we have these on here is to increase engagement. They're all about increasing engagement. So a honeypot would be something like, hey, I have this free nutrition plan. Who wants one? Raise your hand, right? And then you'll get 60 people that say me in the comments, and it boosts your group up. Why? And you'll see this right away afterwards, that all of a sudden people start liking all the rest of your posts because they're engaged in your group again. Maybe they have not been to your group in a little bit. And so when the way that Facebook algorithm works is one person likes it and then another person likes it and then another one. If it starts happening really quickly, Facebook starts showing it to everybody, right? So when you first post something, whether it's in your group or on your page or in your profile, Facebook is only going to show it to 10% of your followers, right? And depending on how those 10% respond to your content, it'll show it to a larger and larger and larger base, right? So if you give something for free, you're going to get a lot of people that say, I want that thing. Well, Facebook doesn't know that you're giving away something for free. They just know that a lot of people are engaging in it. So now they're going to show it to more people and more people and more people. And now all of a sudden, people that haven't been messing with your group in a long time are now in your group poking around. Yeah, they said, yes, I'll take that thing, but they're looking at some other posts and like, wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about. And so that's why every single week on a Thursday, we post something like that. In fact, today in the low stress group, I just posted something like, hey man, we have a lot of awesome gym owners in here. Like, drop a comment on, what your gym name is and where you're at. And it's already at like 40 some comments, right? And it's boosting our engagement way up again. And I'm not giving them any, I'm just asking them a question, right? It's a question post. So if you have something to give it away, right? Don't be afraid that you're going to, like, people are not going to work with you because you're giving things away for free. Don't have that scarcity mindset, because if there's already enough information on the internet to where if they were going to get in amazing shape with the free things, they absolutely could, right? That's not why they're going to hire you. They're going to hire you because they don't do any of that stuff and they need a coach. They need somebody to help them through it. So don't feel like, oh, if I give them this nutrition plan that I created, they're going to just use it and never be a customer of mine. No, they're going to probably not even print it out. Or if they do, it's going to sit on their counter and collect dust, and they'll be like, damn, I should have just worked with them. You know what I mean?
Otherwise, all you need is internet access or a library card, right? Like, if that
Yeah.
was the way people were. So one thing I want to hit on, because you just kind of touched it a little bit. So there's how we do things, there's why we do things, and there's what we do. And the thing that we always try to keep in mind kind of across the board here, some honeypots, we give them some how, but for the most part, it's why do you need to do this? Why is it important to your business? Why is it important to your health? Why is it important to your fitness? Whatever it might be. And what we do, we use a macro-based plan. We have 4 hours documents for our coaches, but we don't typically give them how we do it. We don't give them all of the actual coaching. What is the 12-week cycle for how we, achieve hypertrophy, whatever it may be. Sometimes we will do that in sample form, like you mentioned, a meal plan, but we know that really what we're selling there is our oversight and accountability, right? And our expertise.
Yeah, 100%. If we're talking about this exact live right now, if I was in the low stress, high group, I might say something like, look, guys, you really need to have a Facebook group, right? If you don't have a free Facebook group, it's going to be really hard to compete with everyone else that does, because they have all of these eyeballs, right? And so I just told you what you need to have, right? And I told you why you need to have it, but right. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, right?
And you might say, yeah, sorry. And you might say like, and it's really important that you have certain types of posts that target different types of behavior throughout the week. Yes. But we wouldn't say, this is this type of post with these details. This is this type of post with these details. This is this.
The how is for your paying members, right? Like what we're talking about right now. This is how to do that exact thing, because you guys have paid for that information, right? And so Thursdays, honeypots. So give them something for free, or ask them a question that you feel is going to get a lot of people engaged, right? And just engage on Thursdays. Fridays, that is when you want to shout out everybody that you've signed up that week, right? Because they want to see that people are taking action on your soft call outs, like who wants to work with me, and they're not, right? And it creates FOMO, fear of missing out, right? So they're like, damn, like Johnny he was in the group after me. I see that he commented, said he was a new person and now he's working with them, and maybe he'll be a testimonial next. And I just sit here doing nothing, right? So you always want to shout out everybody that started your program. So you'll see that we're doing that on Fridays now. A little bit newer for us, but to me it was a good addition. It's like, hey, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to so and so, so and so, so and so. They are deciding to take ownership and attack 2021 with their business or their gym or whatever it may be. You can do the same thing with your weight loss group. It's like, look, I just wanted to give a shout out to Susie and whoever, that are in your group. They have some amazing goals for 2021, and I have no doubt that they're absolutely going to crush it. I can't wait to post their client testimonials after they're there. If anybody can, just give them a quick thumbs up, right? And then all of a sudden you're rallying people to the people that signed up. I would do that every Friday, so people know that, hey, people in this group are signing up to work with these guys. Like, what am I missing out on, right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And also one thing I would say is we're talking about your weekly tasks, but the nice thing about a Facebook group is it's not just like an ad where it just passes by and it's gone into the universe, right? What we're doing is we're making posts as we go, but we're building almost like a book of content. And so when somebody joins in the midstream, you can, and what we do is we keep track of it in a spreadsheet. We have all of our different posts categorized out, and we can tag those new folks in posts in posterity. And so as we move forward in time, yes, we're making these posts throughout time, but we can also, if we had a banger of a post from October, we can still go back and tag that new client in that old post, which is going to allow us to keep that content evergreen and continue to promote engagement as we're tagging people in it and then they're commenting on it. So the nice thing is you can reuse these bullets kind of going out into the future. Any thoughts on that?
Oh, 100%, because you want to look at your Facebook group like an operation of your business, right? It's a business system, right? It is a business system, and you want to have conviction and excitement with all of your posts, no matter how many people are in your group, because guess what? If you are super excited and you're spitting like just something absolutely amazing that you think the world is going to hear, but you only have 30 people in your group, one day you'll have 2,000 people. And guess what? You don't have to say it again. You just have to tag them in it. And they're like, damn, that's amazing. It's like the artist that had an amazing album that no one ever bought, right? But then 20 years later, all of a sudden it's the greatest music that ever existed. And it's like, he didn't change it. It's just people caught up to his message, right? And it's the same thing in your Facebook group. It's like you want to archive, and you're able to archive all of these. And that's part of the setup that we talk about at the beginning, is like, that's why you want to set your group up a very specific way, because then you can organize it, right? So you make a content about, increasing muscle while burning fat at the same time. And you might want to tag that under body transformation, right? So if somebody joins your group and they're like, hey, I really have a hard time, building muscle and losing fat. Well, you don't have to make a whole video for them. You already made one. It's right here. Just tag them, right? And so that's the point of what Jason is talking about. It's so powerful.
So we talked a little bit about how we grow the group, but I want to touch on that a little more in depth. So yes, within an hour, you can have this group set up, or you can switch over the group you currently have. How do you recommend the initial organic push to grow the group? And then how do we use ad dollars to grow the group after that?
Okay, yeah, so let's dig into that. Before I do, I will say for anybody that is listening, we are finished with the types of posts. That is, we've covered all of them. There's an optional value post number 2 on Saturday or Sunday. You don't have to do them. If you're just really feeling something and you want to get it out there, then drop it on a Saturday or Sunday. The reason it's optional is because Facebook engagement across everybody is super low on Saturday and Sunday. They're just not on it as much, right? So it doesn't make sense for you to spend your time. Remember, we're trying to give you more freedom. So we don't want to create a system where it's like, well, you have to be on Facebook every single day. Take the weekend off if you need to. Moving forward to what Jason said.
I want to stop you there. Sorry, This is my fault. I've moved on.
You're good, dude.
If I'm a one-man show and I'm drowning right now, I just joined FitBiz and I haven't blown up yet. If I could only do 3 posts a week and manage my time effectively, what 3 posts would you recommend me do?
Do your live, do your client win, and do one value post, right? Do those.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to how we organically start to grow and then how we start to apply paid ads to that.
So you're going to grow by doing one, an anticipation post, right? Which we give you the exact template. Please just use my template. It works fantastic. And that is posting to your personal profile saying, guys, I am going to be starting a free group so I can serve, enter the people you are going to serve, right? And it is completely free. And I'm just going to be using my 10 years of experience and giving you everything I've learned, right? So if you're interested in that, I am going to be giving all of the details tomorrow, right? So it's an anticipation post. Number two is you drop that group is live post. Again, use the copy that's in our course. And you are then giving the link to everybody that is interested in joining your group. But you'll see in the training, and with a lot of this stuff, we're never posting links. You're not going to post links in your group, and you're not going to post links to your wall, because the entire point of a Facebook group is to start conversations with people. You want to start conversations with them. So if there's one thing that you take away from this training, the point of your free Facebook group is to start conversations, right? This Facebook group is replacing cold messenger. Okay. Back in the day, and some people still do it, and you guys are probably super annoyed when you get cold message. I know I am. I just fucking delete it. But people would message you and be like, hey, I saw that we're friends on Facebook. Why don't you buy this thing from me? And it's just horrible, right? But if you want, but it works, right? But if you want to message somebody without them hating you, right, then you have to get their permission to message them, right? So how do you do that? Well, you release something that they want, and then you send them the thing that they want via direct message, because then they will answer it, number one, and two, you can add follow-up questions without them getting angry, right? Because you're giving them something. It's a micro commitment. They're taking it from you, right? So they said, hey, I want to be in your group, and you're like, awesome, I'll send you the link. And you just comment on their Facebook post, hey, I just sent you the link, right? Why do you comment on it instead of just commenting the link? Because number one, it's going to drive engagement up, because now Facebook's like, wow, this post has 50 links. Yeah, but 25 of them are just yours, or 50 comments, 25 are just yours of you saying, I sent you the link, right? And then second, now you're in their DMs, right? And you're like, hey, paste, here's the link. By the way, if you ever need help with any kind of fitness and nutrition, like, this is how to get a hold of me, right? It's like you just gave them your cell phone number, right? Which is, it's the same thing, basically. You opened up a line of communication with them. So that's how you grow it organically. And you can continually post as much as you want on your private Facebook page. You don't have to spend money. It's just slower, right? But you can post as much as you want on your own private Facebook profile, and say, if you guys want more of this stuff, I have a free group. Just comment me and I'll send you the link. Don't drop it.
And you can invite people one by one too. I think Facebook has made it more difficult to like select all and invite everybody, but you can sit there and go through, and if somebody's from your region and you think would benefit or be interested in the content you're going to be putting on that group, you can go through, and I have gone through, and I'll individually invite those people, and it'll take you an hour to work your way through your 1,000 or 2,000 friends or whatever it is. But you're going to get those folks on there, and then it'll end up on their feed, which their friends will see as well. So you're going to be able to grow organically that way, kind of by digital word of mouth.
Yep, and they're always changing it. I think right now you can only do like Sam probably knows, but it's like 20 to 40 people per day.
Yeah, they only show you. Yeah, they only show you so many.
Because they don't want it to turn into like, you know what I mean? So that's the first way. The second way is running ads, right? And that's the way I prefer. And let me tell you why. Because ads are going to be ideal for having them become customers. That first 100 to 200, that's going to make your group respectable. Like, there's people in there. Well, your freaking aunt is going to be in there. Like, your dad's going to be in there. My dad's in mine, liking all my stuff. He's never going to be a customer of mine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but the people that you add through ads, and especially if you're working with FitBiz, because we take it to a whole nother level, but those are going to be ideal customers. So do you want me to break down how we do it, or do you want to go into something? Okay.
Oh, this is great. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when you're running ads for Facebook groups, what we're going to do is we run an ad, which we can help you with, but the copy and the creative and all that stuff is already in there, but it basically has an image, right? A big image of you smiling. Make sure you smile. I like to not smile as much on certain stuff, and it messes me up. Smile. Yeah. And then be like, hey, join my free group. So it's just a descriptor. Who is your group for? So like you'll see in my ads, it always says, brick and mortar gym owners. All right, underneath, join my free group. And then you have the copy, right? And the copy is like, why, right? And so you would have, some of the ads we're running now is, we keep it very simple. It just says Waukesha ladies, join my free group, right? We keep it very, very simple. So it's big and bold as they're scrolling. And then the copy will say something else, right? Why they should join the group. Right now, like we talked about in a previous one, I'm running a lead anchor, which is like a free 21-day at-home challenge. That's not the point. If you want to learn about lead anchors, watch that video. We'll tag you in it. Comment lead anchor right now if you're watching this either live or replay, so I know to tag you in that other video. But we're running ads to get people to get to a landing page. Why do we do a landing page instead of sending them straight to the group? Number one, Facebook does not allow you to send straight to the group. You can try it, but it won't work. They will just, when you go to publish the ad, it says you cannot use a Facebook link. And you could try to change it to like Bitly, but they're not dumb. They're not going to let you run ads to a Facebook group. So you got to make a pit stop somewhere. So if you're making a pit stop somewhere, it makes sense to put a conversion on there so you can start targeting the right people. But second, collect information. Okay. So we stop at a ClickFunnels page, which we give you the import, and it's very, very simple. It has the same exact thing. That has like your image and a big old button that says join my free group. And guess what? When they click that free button or join the free group, it pops up with for first name, last name, phone number, email. And it says, who are we adding to our free group? That's it. They enter their information and then they hit submit and it redirects them straight to your group. So because of that pit stop, now we're collecting their phone number and their email, right? And we can put a conversion event in there when we're running ads, so we can target people that are most likely to join your group, right? But
we're putting right into the up launch campaign.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have it integrated. So now they're automatically added as a new contact. As soon as they fill out the pop-up and hit submit, they're in your up launch account under a journey called free group, free Facebook group. Now we can broadcast to them, right? You have offers, you have member marketing specials, you have, blasts that go out, anything you want. It automatically is going to, you can contact them, right? That is very powerful because you are growing your list, right? And they are filling that information out and then it redirects and sends them right to the group, right? So that's what we end up using paid ads for. And that's why it's so powerful to get that.
And just think about how much easier of an ask it is to say, do you want this free thing and to join this free group? You're not asking them to schedule an appointment to come in. You're not asking them to come across town or to sit down at your desk and talk to you about their goals yet. It's just such a simple ask. And then you actually can provide them the value. One of the beauties and one of the reasons why I love spending my day working with our clients is because we are who we say we are. Joey and I are who we say we are. We love working with gym owners. We love setting up business systems and helping people to solve problems. You gym owners that are listening to this now, almost every single one of you that I've ever talked to is you just want to help more people. And so your free Facebook group is an unbelievable opportunity to be able to tell people that and demonstrate for them by providing value. And you get to keep those eyeballs forever and ever and ever. You don't need to win them in an elevator pitch, which would be like a paid ad, right? Like right away, right now, I need your money, right? And I think that's just such a valuable, I don't even think most people understand how much value that adds to the marketing space for us yet. I think we'll see that unfold.
Yeah, and so the old way of thinking is, well, when you're spending money on ads, you're going to realize your ROI probably within a week, right? Or however long you give this person a schedule before they're just dead, right? If your scheduling goes out a week, like if they don't get in that time period, you're probably never going to meet that person, right? Facebook groups are much different. I would look at it as you're investing in an asset that's living and breathing, right? So you're spending, right now we're seeing about anywhere from $5 to $10, to get somebody into your group. Around there, and that is accumulating. Your group is growing, right? So that money you're spending, you're putting it into an asset that you can leverage, that has cash value whenever you call for it, right? I don't know how much. It depends on how convicted you are, but that's really, really important to realize that distinction. So yes, you could have spent $50,000 on ads in a year, which is an insane amount, and you could have nothing to show for it, or you could have a group that loves you of 3,000 people that you can call on, right? Or however much you spent. And there's a huge difference between the two. And that's why, Jason and I are so pumped up about it, because we're seeing this to begin with. One thing I will say before we move on to the next part, outside of spending money on ads, is if you're having a hard time getting people to talk to you through Facebook Messenger, right, after they join, so they'll join your stuff and then you're going to send them a message, right? That's the point of adding somebody to your group. Hey, saw that you joined my group, and you're doing this on Facebook Messenger, right? And you had an interest in losing weight, right? Because it's going to be one of your 3 membership questions. Like, why did you join this group? Well, if you're having an issue with them getting back to you, which can happen, because guess what? When you message somebody, you're not going to be in their inbox if you're not friends with them, right? That's just how Facebook works. But what do we have that no one else has? We have their phone number, right? So you can text message them and be like, hey, thank you for joining my group. I'm super excited to have a new person in here. If anytime you need anything, this is how you get a hold of me, right? Because they're already in your up launch. In fact, if you want to, which I'm going to be doing after this call, step 1 of that journey, you should know how to edit up launch journeys. That's the ownership that we talked about last week. You should know how to edit your journeys in up launch. It's your voice, right? You click on it, you click active lead, which is what they'll be in under the Facebook journey, and click edit, right? And I will take my step 1 to be in that text message, right? Just as a default, so I don't have to remember to text everybody, and they'll get an email. They automatically get emails being in that journey, but my step 1 might have a 1 text message that says, hey, thank you for joining my group, right? If you ever need anything, this is how you get a hold of me, right? And guess what? They're going to get that. They don't have to be your friend to get that. And that is the power of how we have this set up, because we have the ability to establish that conversation with 100%, right? Now, we can't guarantee that they're all going to message us back, right? But 100% of them have seen our message, right? Which is way more powerful than what a lot of people are doing on just messaging them on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's not changed in the last several years is everyone sees every text that comes to their phone. That's anybody who tells you otherwise is full of shit. Like, yep. Everybody sees every text that comes to their phone. I don't catch every email. I don't catch every Facebook message. Yep. I recommend just saying, hey, don't forget to add me as a friend on Facebook. Just mention it. Yes. Because if they do that proactively, or if you have the extra time, just request them to be your friend. And most of the time they will accept. That'll just help things down the line. So one thing I want to cover, I could talk for another hour about this, Joey. I have so many thoughts.
Keep us going.
You do. So we've got this group, we've organically done it, we've spent some time on ads, we've gotten our group to a few hundred members. At what point and how do we run our first promo cycle?
Okay, so yeah, Jason just touched on it. And there's 2 ways that we're going to get these people to become members of ours, right? Number 1 is the daily acquisition system, what we were just talking about. Somebody sees your ad or whatever, and they raise their hand, right? Whether it's from a honeypot or whether it's from whatever, you started a conversation with them, whether it was from day 1 when they first joined the group and you asked them, do you have these goals in mind? Would you like us to reach out to you? That is your 3rd membership question. It should be for everybody. Do you want us to reach out to you? We're experts at doing this thing. And if they say yes, you reach out to them. Maybe they put their hand up for a honeypot. Maybe they put their hand up for a client win and they want to be the next one. Either way, they open up that line of communication and they say, yes, I'd like to come in and meet with you. That is how we are getting members on a daily basis. It's how we get members from our group. You'll get more members doing this than you will from anything else, right? The second way is a promo cycle, is a 4-day push, right? Where we are saying, look, guys, you might have been in my group for the past 60 days. And I told you every so often, my gym does something absolutely amazing. Well, now is one of those times, right? And so follow my script, that's in the training, but essentially it is a 4-day push where you are pitching them hard on what you do. And so you are going to use scarcity and urgency. Guys, my gym only has, 30 spots available. As you know, we have to maintain distance and I only have so many coaches and whatever it may be. You definitely want to be one of those 30 people. And here's why. And you're giving them all the what and why they need to do to be in the best shape of their life, right? And then you say, look, at Thursday at midnight, this offer is going to be over, right? And because we don't do discounts. Like, we're not that kind of a place. We rarely do this, right? But we're doing it now, and I don't know when the next time we're doing this. So you'll clean up on everybody that's just been lurking around in your group, not taking action, and you're like, okay, you know, they're asking me to work with them. Now's my opportunity to like raise my hand.
And before you move on to the next day, I think a lot of people think they need to give away the house in order to get interest. You really don't, because up until now, you haven't really been explicit about what your front end offer is. And so even if it's as simple as including some extra, beginner's kit, or giving them, you could genuinely even just run the 7-day free trial that we do. And all you're really doing is saying, look, we're going to do something a little different than we normally do. And to them most of them have never been to your gym before, they're just going to see this as their first opportunity, or one of the rare opportunities to get a special deal, which I don't recommend that you go, we're giving you a free month, or we're going to give you any number of like really big sell away the farm type deals. You really just want to, emphasize the scarcity and the urgency of it, and really just push hard on that. And I think it's enough to usually catalyze a lot of action.
Exactly. And in the training, there's little hacks in there. Like, as an example, I don't talk about the perfect gym model in low stress, high profit until a promo cycle. And that's the first time people hear those words, like, oh, perfect gym, what's that? You know what I mean? You'll do the same thing. So those are the two ways we get them, guys. In a promo cycle, you're running every other month. Right, you got to give your group time to build up with all new members that haven't seen you push for the sale yet, right? So every day you're collecting new members through establishing conversations, whether it's through the Facebook inbox or text message in UpLaunch. That's how you're getting new clients every single day, and you should be growing your group every day. You should absolutely be having 5 to 10 new people request to join your group every single day. If you're not, you need to run ads. Right? You need to run ads, and ads will do it. So you have these people, and it just becomes math at that point in time, right? 10 people join, 7 people say, yeah, I'd like you to reach out and tell me a little bit more about what you do. 5 people actually respond to you. 3 people book an appointment. 2 people show up, and you close one of them. We close one person every single day. That's how you add 30 people, to your gym every month from this one stream, guys. We're not even talking about it in the other streams. We're just talking about your Facebook group at this point. When you're not doing that, you're running a promo cycle, a big push. So pick a week and decide, hey, this week I'm going to do my promo cycle and give it 110%, push it hard, and then do that again in another 60 days.
Guys, if you do this correctly, and if you put the love and attention the attention that needs to go towards this group, you genuinely could achieve all of, like in the past, gyms would be like, oh, I grow by word of mouth only. This is the modern version of word of mouth. This is the modern version of people knowing, liking, and trusting you before you ask them to be a member, and then them just walking right into your program, whatever that may be. And so if you put enough time and effort into this, you could achieve all of your growth needs without having to pay for just direct response ads or any of the number of other ways that we do it. One question for you. Let's say for some of those folks out there, they're going to be doing all of this by themselves, and I understand why. But for those people that do have ops managers, that do have teams, do you recommend including other roles in the management of this? And what would you say about that?
Yeah, I would make sure that you have 2 people that are running this group. Even if you need to hire a VA, virtual assistant, for cheap, or you need to just have a friend or a family member or somebody, you need to separate the person that's managing the group and the person that is the guru of the group, right? You got to separate those 2 people. And the reason being is that you need to be able to edify the person that is preaching, right? So you can't, it's the same reason why the doctor doesn't sit up and book his own appointments, right? He's capable of doing that, but it's a really important job, right? And he's helping people change their lives. And you're that same person, right? So you need to have somebody that is going to be welcoming them into the group, tagging them in videos, all sorts of stuff, right? And if you're seriously a one-man show, make up a freaking different profile, right? And talk on behalf of the gym or whatever. You know what I mean? You're an entrepreneur, you'll make it happen. But did I answer your question?
That answers my question. I think there's phases of it. And, as we discussed before the call, I think the best thing that I can say is, FitBiz does what we preach. So we practice what we preach. So for those of you who came through that group, you were greeted by my wife, Donna, who's great with social media. She's awesome at making people feel welcome and engaging even when they're not face to face and getting them excited to be there. She keeps a list and categorizes the archive posts. She'll tag them in that. And then those people that do raise their hand, they're put in front of a setter who talks to them and makes sure that they're good set. That person is edifying either the salesperson or the guru, right? So it'll be either you, or if you're big enough, you have a sales team. I know some people do. And so you certainly don't need this much complexity, but if you have a larger team, having somebody there to say, like you say, if you don't have a VA or you don't have an ops person, well, then maybe somebody that you changed their life who likes to be on social media might be like, oh my God, whatever you're thinking, don't worry. You know, Joey helped me lose 100 pounds. My whole life is better. I think you could crush this. I looked at your profile. Oh my God, I have that kind of dog too, or whatever. Like that's Donna's territory. If she was here, I'm sure she'd go on and on for you.
Yep.
But definitely, not only do we always, in everything we do with FitBiz University, want you to systemize and delegate to your team, but also it will multiply your success because it edifies you as a professional who's busy and who can't just spend their day, you know, welcoming people to a group and, you know, asking them questions about what they've been up to lately, right? You're a busy person, you've got a busy schedule, and if they want to get involved, they got to jump in. And otherwise they can take the content as you distribute it, right?
100%.
So as we start to bring this in for a landing, what other things have we not discussed that you think would be important for, you know, really effective implementation of a free Facebook group?
I think I'll leave you with three things that I think are huge takeaways. Number one is to make sure that you are following the training to a T and not doing your own thing. Now, if you have already done everything we have in our training and you want to supercharge your group by trying some other stuff, by all means, you're an entrepreneur, like do your thing, but don't jump into the group thinking that you're going to do your own thing right off the bat, because again, we've tested all of this stuff and we want to save you time and energy, right? And so if you're starting a free Facebook group, go through our training. It's like 3 hours long. It's long, but it's really, really good. I think it's that long. I'm not sure, but it's really good. So follow that to a T. Number two is use UpLaunch to supercharge your group, right? It is the beauty of having that program and the integrations that we put in. So you have everybody in your group into a texting and email platform, right? So if you're going to be going live, text message them and tell them you're going live, right? If you are going to be running a promo cycle with everything that you drop, on your Facebook group, you know, whether it's an amazing post for day one or whatever, accompany that with a text message to them too, because you have that. So use that. Number three, the final thing is the engagement in your group will not be a direct reflection of your group's ability to generate money, right? Because the majority of the people that sign up for a program with us, they haven't even had the time yet to engage, right? Because they're seeing our ad on Facebook, they join our Facebook group, or I'm sorry, they opt into our ClickFunnels, they join our Facebook group, they're greeted by Donna books them an appointment, and then they're on the call with you know, Sam or somebody the next day, right? They haven't even had a ton of time, and the majority of the people we sign up that way, so they haven't engaged yet. So if you put a post out and it only gets 10 likes, that doesn't mean your group is dead. Your group could be bringing on a ton of people, right? If you're following this very simple process, right? So that's kind of what I wanted to get at, is because, you know, I get down on myself a little bit. Our Facebook group for my gym is not nearly as engaged as I would like it to be, but it's very good at getting members, right? It's very good at getting people, the process. It's a great mousetrap, so to speak, right? It gets them into my system. It starts conversations. It gets them booked. Is it like super engaging like Chris Powell's group is? No. But I'm working on it, right? So don't get down on yourself if you don't have this massive following and you post something and everybody comments and likes it. That takes time.
And you can see, there's some of you that are watching this right now where we saw you coming, where it was like, oh, such and such is posting, like they're commenting on everything, they're following everything, and oh, they just booked a call with, you know, our setter. Oh, they just booked a call with Sam. Of course, they're a great fit. A couple points I wanted to add, and then I'm wrung out. I'm wiped. One is 90 days. We're all entrepreneurs. I know we love to create, we like to take something and change it to make it our own. Give it 90 days of implementing it exactly the way it's supposed to be. And if at that point you're dissatisfied with the results, which I do not think you would be, then that's where you start to add your own personal touch. And then it's kind of the flip side of that same coin is, from an entrepreneurial, successful mindset, it's one thing to put your own flavor on what value you choose to offer in a value post, but you don't need to reinvent the wheel and change from a value post to a whatever post, right? So take the framework exactly as it is, and then put your touch on how you implement, like what is the value you offer. If you feel the need to be the visionary entrepreneur that you all probably are, and I know you to be, then do that within the constructs of the format. So I do a live on this day, I do a value post on this day, I do a client win on this day, but this is how I do those things. Does that make sense? One metaphor I used with Donna the other day is it's like a haiku. Haikus are not the most crazy, complicated or amazing delivery systems of a message. The beauty of them is that you fit them into that specific format. And so if you guys want to be poets, like fit it into the structure that is going to achieve the goals in an effective way, but do so by adding your own flavor within that structure for each of those types of posts. Don't make a value post that's a honeypot live. Don't make a, don't try to do everything all at once. This has been great, Joey. That's it for me. I think this has been valuable, and I think we're going to see in 2021 a lot of people, really making big moves on these Facebook groups.
I agree with you, man. So guys, if you want to watch this again, I know we went through a lot of stuff pretty quickly. It will be dropped in our live replay vault in the course. Just go under, well, it'd be under lead gen, right? You can go under there and it'll be called Supercharge Your Facebook Group. And you can watch this again after you've been through the original training, go through that first. And this would be all the higher level stuff. So appreciate you guys coming out on a Thursday to watch us. Comment anybody that you think would benefit. If your ops manager or somebody's in this group, tag them in here so they can see the same thing that you just saw and crush it at your gym.
All right, guys.
All right, guys, have a good one.